This week in Jamaica Now, terror. Gunmen leave trail of death and grief in Linstead, Kingston and St Andrew. Christiana shock. Police seek father after body of missing teen daughter found. Tufton escapes prosecution, but the Integrity Commission accuses the minister of indirectly influencing contracts to his friend's company. And will the Ruel Reid fraud trial get off the ground? I'm Jovan Johnson, and this is Jamaica Now. Jamaica is reeling from a wave of gun violence that has left at least 6 people dead and more than a dozen injured in 3 separate attacks across St Catherine, St Andrew and Kingston since Sunday night. The bloodshed, which claimed the life of a 4-year-old girl in Linstead, a 52-year-old man in Coburn Pen and left several children among the wounded, has reignited national outrage and renewed calls for stronger action against violent crime. The community of Commodore in Linstead, St Catherine was left devastated from Sunday night's mass shooting that left 5 people dead, including 4-year-old Shannon Gordon and 4 others injured. The other victims have been identified as 42-year-old Mario Sullivan, 19-year-old Joshane Edwards, 39-year-old Aisha Washington and a 22-year-old man known so far as Famous Amos. Prime Minister Dr Andrew Holness, who toured the scene on Monday with National Security Minister Dr Horace Chang and Police Commissioner Dr Kevin Blake, condemned the attack as an act of criminal terror.
This crime amounts to what I would describe as an act of criminal terror. It's an act of terror, but take it out of the context of political terrorism. This is criminal terrorism. This is designed to bring on the people of the community the highest level of fear. As the families would have pointed out to me, they don't feel safe, they want to move, they feel that there could be other attacks coming. This is designed to undermine the effectiveness of the state, because this area was not without policing. This area was a part of the policing strategy to keep crime down in the area. There was police presence here, there was intelligence. But these men felt that they were emboldened in a bare-faced way to come into this area and show that they are not in fear of the law, and in fact they could commit a crime with impunity and as if there will be no consequence for this crime being committed.
At Rosemount Primary and Infant School, where Shannon and an injured 11-year-old student attended, teachers were overcome with grief. Her class teacher described her as a promising and outspoken child, anxious to learn.
To hear in the middle of the night, my phone kept ringing that she died, I cried. So I can only conclude by saying it is time for us to stop the crime and violence. It's time for us to stop killing our children.
Now, Dr. Chang and opposition spokesman Fitzjackson both extended condolences, with Mr. Jackson describing the attack as a dark day for the people of Commodore. Member of Parliament Natalie Nita Garvey noted that 5 victims were members of one family. Residents say heavily armed men in police fatigues stormed a yard, opened fire and even killed a pit bull before fleeing. A visibly shaken Police Commissioner Dr Kevin Blake vowed that no stone will be left unturned in bringing those responsible to justice. A curfew was later declared in the area. And 2 men suspected in Sunday's deadly shooting were shot and killed in separate police operations on Thursday. The police say illegal guns, including an M16 rifle, were seized during the operations in Bogwalk and along Grange Lane. Both incidents are being probed by INDECOM. Assistant Commissioner of Police Christopher Phillips says gang conflict may be behind the attack.
The investigations into what took place in Commodore is ongoing, and there are still information that I cannot divulge. But just to say that these 2 incidents are connected to that investigation, and we will have several other operations, with the intent to try and arrest some of these persons who are involved in that gruesome awful incident in Commodore.
Also on Sunday night, a man was killed and 2 others, including a 9-year-old, injured in a gun attack in Coburn, Penn St Andrew. The deceased has been identified as 52-year-old Leroy Thompson of York Avenue, where the incident occurred around 9 o'clock. The police say Mr. Thompson and others were at a premises when gunmen opened fire, hitting all 3. They were taken to hospital, where Mr. Thompson was pronounced dead. The Hunts Bay police are investigating. And the police are maintaining a strong presence in parts of central Kingston after 6 people, including a 9-year-old and a teenager with a disability, were shot and injured on Tuesday night. The police report that a white car drove onto Text Lane and turned onto Charles Street, where 4 men allegedly opened fire indiscriminately before escaping. The victims were rushed to the Kingston Public Hospital. 3 were treated and released, while 1 man remains in critical condition. The 2 children were transferred to the Bustamante Hospital for Children. Residents say the shooting came as a shock, noting that the area had been relatively peaceful in recent months. The Kingston Central Police Division has recorded 13 murders as of October 4, a 35% decline compared to last year. But this latest attack has renewed concerns about public safety in the troubled community. Residents of Riverside Drive in Baileystown, Clarendon are in shock after the burnt and partially decomposed body of 13-year-old Shantina Sargent was found behind her home Monday evening. The Christiana High School student had been reported missing since October 3 by her father, 46-year-old Lawrence Marcus Sargent, who police are now searching for in connection with what is being treated as a murder investigation. Community members described Shantina as polite and well-mannered. One resident said the discovery has shaken everybody, while others recalled seeing her father leaving the area days earlier with household items. Shantina's stepmother, Juliet Eunice, said she last saw the teen on October 1 and believes her death may be linked to ongoing domestic issues. Head of the Manchester Police, Superintendent Kerry Duncan, has appealed to the father to surrender, saying he's in a good position to help move the investigation forward. Meanwhile, the police are reporting that murders are down across all 19 divisions except St Anne, which has recorded a 20% year-on-year increase with 48 killings up to October 4. Nationally, Jamaica's murder tally stood at 522, a 41% drop compared with a similar period last year. A new report from the Independent Commission of Investigations, INDECOM, has raised alarm about troubling patterns in deadly police operations. It found that in 1 of every 5 raids where a civilian is killed at home, a woman is reportedly removed or barred from the area moments before the police open fire. The Commission says this has become a hallmark of fatal operations, along with officers failing to activate their body cameras, tampering with CCTV footage, and using outdated or faulty search warrants. INDECOM says 233 civilians have been killed by the police so far this year, the highest figure in years, with most deaths occurring during planned operations. A 15-year-old student of the Llandilo School of Special Education in Westmoreland remains in critical condition after being hit by a vehicle on a main road in Negril on Monday. The teen was captured on video repeatedly running across the busy roadway moments before the tragic incident. His principal, Roy Reid, says the boy had severe ADHD and communication challenges and depended heavily on his prescribed medication to remain calm. Residents say they tried to protect the child, but he refused to leave the roadside. The Integrity Commission has found that Health Minister Dr Christopher Tufton and Market Me Consulting Co-Managing Director Lindsay McDonough failed to declare their friendship when her company was awarded nearly $80 million in government contracts from his ministry. It concluded that Dr Tufton, quote, appeared to have advanced a private interest which resulted in a monetary benefit to Market Me, end quote. It followed a 3-year probe into allegations of procurement breaches and conflict of interest between 2016 and 2021. Investigators found that 15 contracts valued at more than $78 million were awarded to Market Me, 14 from the Ministry of Health and 1 from the National Family Planning Board. The contracts centered around the Jamaica Now's Physical Fitness Initiative, which Market Me proposed to the ministry. Director of Investigations Kevin Stevenson said there was no evidence that Dr Tufton directly influenced the awarding of the contracts, but criticized him for not disclosing his relationship with Ms. McDonough, whom he introduced to ministry officials. The report stated that the minister's actions created at minimum a perceived conflict of interest and breached principles of transparency and good governance. The report also revealed that Ms. McDonough acted, quote, wholly inappropriately and irregularly, end quote, by attending a January 2017 National Health Fund Board meeting where the Jamaica Moves program was discussed, despite having a financial interest in the project. Ms. McDonough was a member of the National Health Fund Board. The report further noted that former Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Kevin Harvey, told investigators that Dr. Tufton had instructed staff that, quote, Market Me should be involved in all public relations matters related to the office of the minister, end quote. While the Commission found no basis for criminal referral, it flagged several procurement irregularities in the use of direct contracting, which it said could have been used to frustrate competition for contracts. It also raised concerns about the splintering of contracts after noting that 6 contracts were awarded to Market Me for the same project on a single day in May 2019. It urged the Health Ministry to strengthen its procurement systems and ensure stricter compliance with integrity and public contracting laws. And Health Minister Dr. Tufton says he welcomes the Integrity Commission's findings, noting that the report, quote, clarifies the facts and puts to rest years of speculation, end quote. He says the public now has a clear understanding that he was not directly involved in awarding contracts to Market Me Consulting Limited. In its response, Market Me said the report reaffirms its integrity and professionalism. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Health and Wellness says it accepts the Commission's recommendations and is committed to strengthening its procurement and management systems to ensure greater transparency. The Ministry also noted that the report found no evidence of wrongdoing on the part of its staff. It also said there was no intention to splinter contracts and that it addressed concerns as soon as they were raised. 2 municipal councillors and a former representative are to be charged for breaching the Integrity Commission Act after failing to file their income and assets declarations. The Director of Corruption Prosecution has ruled that People's National Party councillor Keisha Lewis of the Lauriston Division in St. Catherine, along with the Jamaica Labour Party councillor Rowan Hall of the Red Hills Division in Kingston and St. Andrew, are to be charged. The third person is Roger Curlew, who represented the PNP in the Mount Industry Division in St. Catherine. 3 investigative reports tabled in Parliament on Tuesday revealed that the 3 failed to declare their financial affairs for multiple years between 2019 and 2022. Each had been served with notices and given 21 days to pay fixed penalties of $250,000 for each year they missed and submit the outstanding declarations. While the councillors later filed the required documents, they reportedly failed to pay the penalties, leading to the referrals for prosecution by the Integrity Commission. Uncertainty hangs over the start of the multi-million-dollar fraud trial involving former Education Minister Ruel Reid and 4 co-accused. The case, stalled repeatedly since 2019, was due to start on Tuesday, a day later than originally scheduled. But defense attorneys raised sharp objections on Tuesday about what they called improper and late disclosure of documents. Attorney Carolyn Chuck told the court that a new batch, some exceeding 1,000 pages, was served just 2 weeks ago, calling it unreasonable and an ambush. Attorney Hugh Wildman also accused the Crown of mishandling the disclosure process, claiming that thousands of pages were shared electronically instead of being formally served. Prosecutor Ashtel Steele countered that the defense has repeatedly raised similar complaints, noting that the Crown has disclosed documents as soon as they were received. Mr. Reid, his wife and daughter, along with the JLP councillor Kim Brown Lawrence and former Caribbean Maritime University president Professor Fritz Pinnock, are accused of defrauding a government program of over $50 million. Senior prosecutor Claudette Thompson will officially assume office on Monday as Jamaica's new Director of Public Prosecutions (DPP), becoming only the 2nd woman to hold the post. Ms. Thompson succeeds King's Counsel Paula Llewellyn, who retired last month after a 17-year tenure, the longest by any DPP. Her appointment was confirmed this week by the Office of the Services Commissions. Ms. Thompson has been acting in the role since Ms. Llewellyn's departure on September 19. A career prosecutor since 2004, Ms. Thompson has handled some of Jamaica's most high-profile gang cases, including the Klansman Juan Don and Uchen's Wilson trials and the Tesha Miller prosecution. She has served in multiple leadership roles within the DPP's office and also sits on the Legal Aid Board. Ms. Thompson holds degrees in international relations and law and received her legal training at the Norman Manley Law School. And that's it for this edition of Jamaica Now, your weekly review of the big news stories. Send us your comments at onlinefeedback@gleanerjm.com. Follow us on X, formerly Twitter, and Instagram at Jamaica Gleaner, and on Facebook at Gleaner Jamaica. Like this video on our YouTube page, turn on your notifications, and subscribe today. I'm Jovan Johnson.